Good day, everyone. Meteorologist Mark Molnar here. How is everybody doing? Well, we have a lot to talk about as usual here. This has been a very busy week here, and today is no exception. We got what's left of Harold moving well inland here, giving Texas some beneficial and some refreshing rains, cooling off from the heat, so to speak. Franklin is still sitting down here south of the island of Hispaniola. It's moving at a snail's pace. This is going to be our main player as we go out in time. Just how close to the U.S. East Coast is this thing going to get, and how close to Bermuda? Well, as we get towards the 28th, it puts it right in this vicinity here off the U.S. East Coast. And we're also looking at a few other systems out here, Invest 92L as well. And we're going to be looking at a feature that could actually be coming out from the Pacific into the Western Caribbean, and it could actually eject towards the Florida area. What kind of system could this be? We'll take a look at all that and more. Let's get right into it. Okay, so taking a look at what's left of Harold here, let's just back this up here. There we go. So Harold is going to continue to push inland here. The good news is it's brought some very refreshing rains into South Texas today and into tonight. But look at by 8 a.m. on Wednesday morning. Yeah, it's going to be a fading memory here, and it is going to be drying out. So Harold will be on its way to the desert southwest, weakening. You can see it traversed across the entire Gulf of Mexico. Now, here is Franklin. Franklin is essentially moving at a snail's pace here. So Franklin's going to continue to try to strengthen here. It does look like landfall is going to happen sometime on Wednesday here. So right around, it's going to be around noon. So this system's going to come in, looks like on the Dominican Republic side. So it's interesting that the GFS was a little bit right on this, although the intensity is nowhere near where the GFS had indicated. But here it is as it gets on the other side of Hispaniola. Let me just zoom out so we can give you a very good flow pattern here. Now, this flow pattern is this high pressure system off the U.S. East Coast. Here is our subtropical high. Right in the middle, we have this trough. Initially, this trough starts to pull this storm up to the northeast like this. Now, as we get closer to Thursday and Friday, look what starts to happen here. The high pressure system starts to retreat and move to the east and build in. So what starts to happen here is this flow around the high pressure system starts to push Franklin, bending back towards the west here, taking that left turn. So that's why we got this going on. Initially, Franklin will be caught up in this low pressure flow here, but as this moves to the northeast and its influence is weakened, essentially, that's what's happening with the remnants of Gert down here too. So, essentially what we got going on here is we're going to have to watch Bermuda and the U.S. East Coast, because as we get into the 26th, this is 4 days out. This is Saturday. The European model's going a little bit east of guidance here. That's pretty interesting. But then it swings very far to the left here. You can see by the 28th. Now we're going out to 141 hours here. There is Hamilton, Bermuda. So if this solution holds true, you might be able to breathe a sigh of relief here in the island of Bermuda. And you're not completely off the hook because a lot can change. But look what's starting to happen here. This trough of low pressure is moving a little bit faster than originally thought. So that's actually going to help maybe push this system away from the U.S. East Coast in New England. It's going to be really close, though. There is nothing set in stone with this. Look what starts to happen. This area of low pressure does start to strengthen over Nova Scotia. You can see Nova Scotia right up in this region here. Here's New England. So what's going to happen? This is going to be very close either way. So I want you to stay tuned so you can see this area of low pressure, the strung out trough along the East Coast. It's all about timing and strength. This would be a better solution than we've seen in the last couple days. It would still give big impacts here, especially to eastern Nova Scotia, but it keeps the center of circulation off the Canadian and New England coast here and away from Bermuda as well. That is great news. This is a new solution. Unfortunately, it does take it right near and over Newfoundland here as a very strong low pressure system becoming extra tropical by then. So it's still something we need to keep an eye on. Now, there's something right behind this system. If we take a look, let me just go back down here into the Caribbean and the Eastern Pacific. So here we go. We're going back towards the 25th and 26th here. You can see we do have some energy that does start to stir up here initially from Central America and some moisture from the Pacific. Here it is. It's starting across the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. So I know many of you in Jamaica, you do want some heavy rain. You cool it down. It's been so hot and humid. So let's take a look as we continue to go in time. 27th, 28th, you can see what's going on here. These thunderstorms are persisting here over the northwestern Caribbean. That's providing a lot of rain, Cayman Islands to Cuba, Jamaica, back towards Hispaniola. As we continue to go in time, look what continues here. We just continue to get this big tropical moisture plume, and we could start to see some sort of development here, possibly around Florida. Look at the timestamp on this. This is August 29th at 8 p.m. So is this something we need to worry about? Well, the European model has been hinting at quite a bit in the way of moisture and activity spreading from the eastern Pacific all the way up into the Caribbean and up the U.S. East Coast. So something may be brewing here. I want you to stay tuned for this as well because things can really change. Look at that. That could potentially become a storm, maybe off the U.S. East Coast, but we're out 222 hours here. So a lot can change. If we go out just a few more frames, you can see that could be a possible threat to Bermuda. But then again, this could be back and forth, several or 800, 900 miles. So for the GFS run, let's compare. Let's see what's going on with Franklin here because that's the big story. And then we'll take a look at our Caribbean and Gulf issue. So here it is, Wednesday afternoon between noon and 2 p.m. here. It looks like we're going to see landfall here, the island of Hispaniola. Heavy rain is going to be the big thing, but the GFS is really starting to accelerate the storm towards the north here. So you can see, parts of the eastern Bahamas here might get clipped as well. So watch out for some heavy rain, gusty winds. Now look what happens here. The GFS taking this a little bit further to the east as we get into the 26th here. So a little bit east of guidance, just as the European is. So it's indicating that bigger trough up there. But look at how this explodes into what could become a hurricane here. Here it is, just west of Bermuda. Here's the U.S. East Coast. So let's get some perspective here. South and North Carolina. There is Bermuda. There up there is the New England coast and Nova Scotia up here as well. So let's just zoom out just a tad here. Let's see what happens with this system on the GFS model. There it is. Yeah, forming a very formidable eye here. You can see, where is this going on the GFS? Yeah, this looks like one heck of a buzzsaw. Could we have a major hurricane on our hands here? It is quite possible. The GFS is indicating this exploding. The good news is, you can see, let's just go back here. As you can see, this storm is being picked up by that East Coast trough again. So the timing is faster on the trough on the GFS. And look at that. That is an even better solution than the, say, European model, because this keeps it well off the Nova Scotia shoreline here. And yes, it is still affecting Newfoundland, but very minimally, and keeping the center of circulation very much mostly offshore there, just southeast of St. John. So something we need to keep an eye on here. And then look what the GFS does here. Very similar to the European model here. You can see tropical moisture moving northward. So let's just back up here towards the 27th here. So it's pretty clear for the most part. European model is rainier for the Cayman Islands and Jamaica. But look at here as we get into the 29th, you start to see some showers and thunderstorm activity developing here across the Caribbean. And let's continue in time here. You can see how this blossoms across Central America and to parts of the Gulf here. So this is going to get kind of interesting as we go in time. We could be looking at a very stormy time of it. There it is, September 1st. It is a bit further to the west here, but it's strung out here across the Florida Peninsula. You don't see any major low-pressure system forming here. This is something we definitely need to keep an eye on, though, because look at the GFS is now spinning something off of the Carolinas here. So we could still be dealing with some sort of a tropical system, but I caution you, yeah, that's taking it right up the U.S. East Coast. So definitely something we need to really keep an eye on. The trends are there, but this is more than 300 hours out. I just want to give you an idea because, the positioning might not be correct on a lot of this stuff, but the trend pattern is. And if we go right from above here, look at some of these storms out here. They're resembling pretty much some tropical storms and hurricanes. So we're in the thick of it here. We're going into peak hurricane season over the next couple weeks, and we're going to have to watch the main development region of the Atlantic here as well. So as we take a look, thanks to tropical tidbits for our upper air mid-layer dry air problem map here. So it can be a godsend too, because it can destroy these systems. But take a look at this. Here's Franklin pushing all that tropical moisture northward here. There's Invest 92L. Yeah, things, if you look here, there's actually more areas of dry air than there is moist air. So that's still going to be a problem for these tropical systems. It looks like Franklin's going to be the best at battling this. But you do start to see a pattern here. Here's Franklin. Yeah, it's battling dry air initially on the northwest side. There's a few areas out here in the Atlantic that are moistening up. And watch this flow. Watch this start to surge. This is Friday, August 25th. Watch this as we go out in time. Basically, Franklin evades all this dry air, becomes very wound up. Look at that, 973 millibars here on the European model. But look at this massive moisture plume. It's going to continue to moisten up the Western Caribbean. I know many of you in the Western Caribbean are going to welcome this. But look what starts to happen. You can see this trough off the U.S. East Coast. It really starts to kick in with all that dry air. That is going to help possibly deflect this system. I caution you because things and timing can change. This is something that we need to really keep an eye on. 967 millibars. If it does strengthen that much, though, it would have a tendency to recurve, which would be some great news. But nothing is set in stone this far out. This is Monday, August 29th. You can see it getting picked up in the flow pattern there. Dry air behind it, 965 millibars. And there's our next system out here on the Cape Verde Islands. It's surrounded by dry air. But look at the moisture plume coming up the southeast coast here into Florida. This is the area that I'm worried about as we go through the end of the month. Could we have some sort of tropical system spin up around Florida, the Eastern Gulf, off the East Coast? It's possible. European model indicating it here. Liquid equivalent here. Rainfall across the Caribbean. Look at that. Jamaica and the Cayman Islands staying mostly dry through Thursday. There's the island of Hispaniola. Mostly Dominican Republic, some bleeding over into Haiti. You're talking about 150, 250 millimeters. That's getting upwards of 6 to 12 inches of rain. This is really significant. Locally higher to 15 to 20 in the higher terrain. Mudslides likely. Haiti's getting off a little bit easier here than the Dominican Republic is, but still getting some heavy rain. Look at here into Jamaica. You'll get some showers, but look at that. Your rainfall is going to happen over the weekend. Look at that. The atmosphere really starts to moisten up here, and look what starts to happen here as we get heavy rain and tropical moisture pluming north as we head through next week. Look at this. On the order of 100 to 150 millimeters, that's getting upwards of, say, 4 to 8 inches of rain here in the Cayman Islands. And look at this in Jamaica, 90 to as much as 110 millimeters. That's right around the 3 to 4 inch mark here. So heavy rains will be on the way. And as we get over here into the Lesser Antilles, you're staying pretty dry. It's like a rain shadow until we get into next week, where you start to see that next tropical wave impinge on your area, upwards of 60 to 90 millimeters. We'll be looking at a solid 2 to 3 inches. So taking a look at the HRRR model here gives us a good idea of our future radar. Here is what's left of Harold. Well, Harold continuing to hold on here across South Texas. You can see plenty of shower and thunderstorm activity. Brought some beneficial rains as far north as San Antonio there. That's going to be booking it towards the west across the Texas-Mexican border here into New Mexico. Now, the next system I'm going to turn my attention to is actually here closer to my main immediate forecast area here. As we get up here into parts of the Great Lakes, you can see the Cleveland area. So this is the 23rd. This is your Wednesday morning around 10 a.m. Look what's dropping south across parts of Michigan. And you can see here across parts of Ohio as well. We got some strong thunderstorms. And some of these could be severe. Some isolated severe possible. Look at Erie, Pennsylvania, really getting on the act there of some strong thunderstorms with heavy rain, maybe some isolated damaging wind, and that's going to continue most of the night into Wednesday night here. Take a look at this. This was really setting up. It's actually keeping a lot of Ohio during this time drier. So Ohio is trending drier where western New York and Pennsylvania are trending wetter. But look what starts to happen here on early Thursday morning at 2 a.m. We're going to take a look at rainfall amounts because this could be a major problem. This kind of rain training over the same area over and over again could bring some staggering rainfall totals here. And I'm greatly concerned about this. This is something we're going to have to keep an eye on. Look at 4 a.m. though. Cleveland's luck does start to run out as we get some very strong thunderstorms moving across the area with very heavy rain. It will bring some beneficial rain, but look at how it starts to resemble a mesoscale convective complex. I'm a bit concerned because these can actually start to bow out and cause some damaging wind segments as they do bow out. So early morning hours, yes, this can happen. Look at back towards Binghamton, Scranton area, I-81 corridor. Showers and thunderstorms filling in there as well as north central Pennsylvania. We're just going to continue to plow. Look at this. Yeah, this is quite a mesoscale convective system, especially on the western end of this. I'm really concerned about severe weather during this time. This is 7 a.m. on Thursday morning. So definitely something we need to keep an eye on here as we continue to cruise on into time here. Take a look at this. Yeah, this is just continuing. It looks like it is weakening, though, thankfully, as it does head south. So as we just zoom out here, you can see what's going on. This trough of low pressure is really kicking in, and we're getting some unsettled weather here even into the northeast. Take a look at areas here from the Hudson Valley, Catskills, Poconos, all the way up to the Mohawk Valley, Adirondacks, parts of the Susquehanna River Valley. We'll be getting scattered showers and maybe a few rumbles of thunder throughout the day on Thursday. So it's looking like a rainy day in this region as this low pressure sets up here. I have plenty more weather here. Stay tuned for the rest of my video, but I have a quick announcement here from my affiliate. Take a look at this. I am proud to announce that I am now an affiliate with Trilogy Maps. TrilogyMaps.com, bringing you the most digital, customizable maps found nowhere else on the internet. These maps are simply stunning. It's an advanced layering system that makes these maps great for making forecast maps with ease or any other maps that you would like to display important information on. The resolution on these maps is simply amazing. From the detail of everything here in the States, and you can also create stunning digital professional layered maps from also across the entire world. And don't forget, in checkout, the discount code option, use my code MeteoMark, hit apply, and you will get 20% off your order. So if you want the most professional, customizable, and affordable weather maps found nowhere else on the internet, look no further than TrilogyMaps.com. Link in the description down below along with your discount code. So we'll take a look at the European model here. We're going to pick up where the mesoscale left off. That is the area. European model is a bit further west on this. Actually, what just happened? There we go. Okay, so we went all the way to the end of the timeline. Let's just back up here. So there it is. European model is a bit further west here on the mesoscale convective system heading on into Thursday morning. So still something we need to keep an eye on here into northern Ohio, western Pennsylvania, western New York. We'll take a look here, but showers and thunderstorms blossoming through your late Thursday night across Ohio, parts of western Pennsylvania as that pivots westward there. So the European model is a bit further west and south with that system. And as we continue to go in time into Friday here, showers and thunderstorms continuing scattered across the northeast parts of New England. There's Franklin showing up as a 987 millibar hurricane by this point. And look at there, Sunday, we get showers and thunderstorms continuing across parts of the northeast. That's pushing out to sea. That's going to help push this trough along the U.S. East Coast. Look at that, 963 millibars here on the European model. That is intensifying into probably a major hurricane by this point. Look at that, 965 millibars. You can see that being deflected out to sea. Looks like the East Coast dodging a bullet here on the European model. You can see it being pulled out to sea and high pressure building into the northeast. Before the next trough kicks in, this is Wednesday, August 30th. And look at that. Could be a tropical system right around the East Florida coastline here. So something we definitely need to keep an eye on. That could be another tropical system that forms. And look at there it is, all the moisture in the Gulf of Mexico. But big old high pressure developing here from the Midwest all the way to the Great Lakes and the Northeast. So taking a look at liquid equivalent precipitation amounts, there it is in South Texas. Maybe another half an inch to inch, but most of that's already fallen. As we continue to go in time, there is that heavy rain across northeast Ohio, northwest Pennsylvania. I am concerned about very heavy rain in these areas. And then off the southeast coast here is to Florida all the way up to North Carolina. But yeah, this is the trouble area as we continue during the next couple days. What's going on here in the northeast? Let's just back that up. Most of that occurs later on into Sunday morning there across the northeast, picking up quite a bit in the way of rainfall into the following week as well. All right, as we take a look at the northeast, I'm zooming in right on the map. I'm actually going to show you the HRRR liquid equivalent here momentarily, but here's the European model. This is just through Friday morning. Look at this. I am really, really concerned. Cleveland, look at this. Cleveland, Ohio, 3 to 3.5 inches of rain. Yeah, parts of northwestern Pennsylvania, 4 to 5 inches. I'm very concerned about this. Parts of eastern Michigan as well, northeast of Detroit there. This is something we need to keep an eye on. Look at the Hudson Valley as well. We're picking up close to an inch in some areas and western New England. And look at that as we head into the weekend. Things really moisten up from the Hudson Valley, eastern Catskills, all the way up to the Green and White Mountains in northern New England there. Look at that. This is something we'll have to keep an eye on. Southeastern Massachusetts picking up close to 3.5 to 4 inches of rain. Something we really need to keep an eye on. And averaging out across New York and Pennsylvania to about 3/4 of an inch. So as we take a look at the HRRR rainfall here. This is just through Thursday early or mid-afternoon. Yeah, it's the same kind of situation here. From Cleveland area up to Erie, Pennsylvania, we're talking about 3+ inches of rain. Some areas locally higher to 4 inches. So this is a concern. We're going to continue to watch across northeastern, eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania, into western New York. So temperature-wise, the heat dome is on. Look at that. Hundreds all the way up to South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa, even Wisconsin. That's crazy for your Wednesday, August 23rd here. 70s holding on to the northeast. The battleground there for the thunderstorms is Ohio, western New York, and Pennsylvania. We're going to continue to watch that because the heat's going to build, going to 90 here in Cleveland, 95 in Columbus, 99. Look at that. That's crazy. Hundreds all the way up in almost to Chicago there for your Thursday. Staying cooler in the northeast. Look at some 60s there into parts of the eastern Catskills, Hudson Valley. Feeling a little bit like fall as we head into Friday, though. That heat builds into the northeast a little bit. Kind of a squeeze play here with 60s here into northern New England and 80s south of Interstate 80 in Pennsylvania. 79 there in Cleveland. And look at that, 70s across New York, but we're boiling here across the southeast as we continue on into your Saturday, the weekend. We see a little bit of a cool down here into the 70s. That's looking better. We push this hotter air to the south, and as we get later on in your weekend for your Sunday, take a look at this. We push those hundreds all the way to the Gulf Coast here, eastern Texas and Louisiana getting into the mid to high 100s. But look at this shot of cooler air, 70s. That is beautiful for the weekend, feeling very nice, and that continuing on into your Monday for August 28th. Extended outlook from hometown viewers, Binghamton, Scranton's, Upper Susquehanna, River Valley of New York and Pennsylvania. Wednesday is sunny, 73. Look at that. We go all the way to Sunday. We ended at 70 and sunny. So the 2 days 1 and 5 look nice. It's in between. We have the problems Thursday. Our next frontal boundary moves in. Showers and thunderstorms likely up to 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch. Only 69 degrees as the clouds and rain keep the temperatures down. Friday we'll see more breaks of sun, but some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Maybe 1/10 to 1/4 inch of rain. Saturday, a chance of a shower, especially early, 72 degrees. Those northwest winds really kicking in. Look at that. Nice and cool. As always, thanks for joining me for this edition of MeteoMark's Weather. Take a look at my Facebook page at MeteoMark, also Weather Northeastern, also Hurricane Northeastern to follow the tropics. And if you want to hop over to my Twitter page, it's at Weather Eastern. It's MeteoMark.com. Thanks for joining me. Question or comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell notification button so you're alerted when a video comes out.